song for a movie podcast. Some are pretty good, but we'll just suck ass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Watch with us for Cinema Buns. Let's go!
Hello and welcome to Cinema Buns. I'm Ritter.
I'm Patty.
Was that supposed to be Australian? That sounded Midwest.
How you going?
Ritter, why
I'm
is it
talking
that you
to me.
always sound like you're from the
Talk
South?
to me.
I am not always sounding from the South. Fuck off.
Is it that hospitality that you know so well from your family?
God damn it.
Especially your mother.
Boy, Mike sure does sound different today.
Yeah, Mike is busy living life. Fucking loser. So
Living
we
like
brought
Larry.
my wife.
Mhm.
Patricia is a guest on the podcast again.
Yeah.
And today we're talking about the Australian hit movie Talk to Me as
It's one of them YouTuber movies.
Them YouTubers.
Homegrown
Ooh.
homegrown homegrown Australian movie makers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they so if you don't know, they're from the YouTube channel House Rocka, and they made the fucking meme video of Ronald McDonald killing a bunch of children. And
I don't remember.
Is that a
I don't
meme?
think I ever
Yes.
watched that video.
they also made the one where Ronald's like, "What the fuck is this? You shit!" and slapping a kid.
Oh.
Am I the only one that's
Yeah, I
seen
think
these
you're
videos?
the only one that's seen that video.
I have
'Cause,
something
like, I
against
only-
calling those
yeah.
memes.
I
They
only
just
found
sound
out-
They
like
are memes.
They just sound like videos.
Okay, listen, I don't appreciate being called out like this. So yeah, what's some initial impressions you guys had?
Honestly, I need a recap.
What?
Because if I remember.
Patty, what
like,
is Talk to Me about?
Yeah,
Okay.
without spoiling, what is it about?
A hand, a plastic synthetic hand.
Okay.
Or, no, not a hand, like a whole arm, like a hand and an arm, and like it has words on it, and
Okay,
it has
okay.
like spirits that like.
So what about the hand? How does the hand play into the plot?
What that hand do, girl?
The hand brain. The what?
Come on.
I feel like you're expecting an answer from me, and I feel.
Yeah, we're waiting for you to give an answer.
I said
You know
spirits
how
already.
you know how Pacific Rim
Yeah.
you have to have a psychic handshake,
Yes.
a physical handshake, where you
Yeah.
take the fist of the right arm and
And
the
the
palm on
and
the
then
left
you-
hand.
They are synced.
Handshake completed.
Yes.
So it's
so
like,
first, I do want to say, Patricia, you're fine. You did just about as well as Mike does whenever we throw it to him.
Yeah, I figured. Like, how many weeks has it been since we last saw it?
That's a great
It's been like
question.
3 or
what are you
4
talking about? We
It's been
just
a
saw it
month.
immediately.
We saw it as soon as it came out in theaters.
No, I
and-
mean like we're
Yeah.
recording this in August. It's
Yeah.
August right now.
yes.
Kevin, it's too late.
It's
Strike
not.
while the iron is frozen.
It's not like we're recording this a week and a half before the DVD comes out.
It's not like Talk to Me is already gone from theaters right now. Yeah, so we have the origins of the hand is kind of like steeped in mystery. They barely explain a little bit of it, but
And
that's not the important part because
And
like,
even what they explained, they're like, we don't know if it's real.
Yeah.
That's just what we heard.
I kind of like the mystery element though, because they're just like, well, it was from like, what was it? Not a fortune teller, but like
It's like a medium.
Yeah.
who died.
They said that their powers were her predictions and what she was saying was too accurate, so she was killed.
Yeah.
And when she died, they cut off each of her hands and dipped them in plaster,
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, so it's a ceramic hand that young Australian kids can have underage drinking parties with, where the rules are you light the candle to open the door, you blow it out to close it. You light the candle, shake the hand, and you let the spirit know, talk to me, and then they're going to try to contact you and then like inhabit your body.
So you say, talk to me, and a spirit arrives to where you can communicate with them. but then you say I let you in, and then it
Right,
inhabits your body.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then the rest of the party can like speak to them and like communicate them through you as like a
Or
vessel.
watch as you freak out and lick the
make
floor.
out with a dog.
Yeah.
Or eat a foot. Okay, that wasn't necessary.
How long does it take to get to the center of your tootsies?
God.
And like the 90-second time limit is that if you pass 90 seconds, then they would want to stay.
Yeah.
But like, wouldn't all ghosts just want to stay immediately as
Well,
soon as they come in?
I kind of interpreted that as like once it goes past 90 seconds, the ability to kick the ghost from your body becomes more and more difficult exponentially
Yeah.
as time goes on.
Yeah, and then you blow out the candle in order for like it to completely like stop. It's like a right-clicking on a hard drive and saying
Yeah.
safely move.
Yeah, isn't
Safely
that kind of what
eject hard drive.
they like say anyways? Because like, can I bring up spoilers? Because I remember
Not yet.
Uh,
We're not in the spoiler section
no.
yet. So one thing that most people I think will be able to pick up on it because it's not subtle, but it's done in a very smart way to where it doesn't feel like it's beating you over the face with it. This is all just an allegory for like underage drinking, drugs. It's mostly for drugs.
Well, I
It's
think
basically like for any vice.
but it's like also physically letting go because you're holding on to a thing, and like these spirits are they're the ones that have not like passed on to the rest of the afterlife. They're like in this purgatory limbo. And they can only access they can still like touch the real world through like the ceramic hand.
Yeah.
And what's kind of like cool about this movie is that it sticks to the rules.
Very much so.
So I always appreciate whenever a horror movie like has rules for the superstition, and they like outline it and it follows it like pretty well.
Yeah, because I mean, throughout the rest of the movie, basically any other like spiritual encounters that happen directly because the main character breaks the 90-second rule.
I think that's only Mia though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's like,
Yeah,
but she only breaks
okay.
it once.
Yeah,
But I think just breaking it that once, and because she ends up stealing the hand, and she keeps doing stuff with it. So I think as the continued exposure and the continued like breaking of those rules, like weakens the barrier.
I have to disagree with you, but like it's because we like there's more story plot, and I can't say.
Is
it
there
in-
nothing you could say without spoiling the movie?
Yes, because I'm like, okay, remember, and then I'll tell you in the next half.
Okay.
But
But-
yeah, I'm like, I disagree with you because like there's other parts of like the rules that like make sense, but it's because of like age or like other factors.
Okay. We'll wait till we get into the next section because I'm
I'll
not
bring
sure
up-
what
I'll
you're
bring
trying
up
to
my
hint
point later.
So this is also one of those movies that like I was harping on about or like alluded to, where it's like a horror movie's got to have like the main character protagonist going through some sort of like trauma,
Yes.
and they have to get over their grief somehow.
There has to be a dead mom.
So we have a dead mom here, where Mia lost her mom off screen. You kind of just start the movie at her funeral, and like you don't even know the specifics of how she dies.
Yeah. But you
until,
learn
like,
it as the film goes on.
yeah,
and-
and it's the thing that kind of starts the plot is that she realizes that it's through this magical prank hand that she might be able to communicate with her. But is it really her?
Yeah, and to kind of go back to how this is supposed to be an allegory for like drug use and stuff, because one of the because Mia explicitly says like once she comes out of it, they're like, "How did it feel?" And she's like, "I felt like I was wrapped in light, and I was just floating."
Yeah, they all
And
say that it feels like amazing.
Yeah, because like as you like when you first are approached with the concept, you're like, "Why the fuck would any kid do this?"
Yeah.
Well, because it's
scary.
like, yeah, I mean, like it's
But
scary, and everyone it has a great reaction to it when you're in like a social setting.
Yeah.
Someone getting fucked up is funny to kids,
Yes.
especially when they're surrounding them and like they're like shitting themselves.
But
Well, shoot, the other
like,
thing though
kids are
too
cruel.
is that like they treat it as like a game.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think part of that is that, like, if you think about it, let's take this concept and give it to a different set of directors, different set of writers. Some people might say that like doing the hand would be painful, or you would suffer like side effects from doing it and stuff like that. In this movie, there's a personal incentive to doing it. Because these kids want to keep doing it, yes, because it's funny and like, haha, meme Snapchat videos, but also at the same time, they feel good while they're doing it.
I felt like they also kind of got like some amount of like cred because they're like brave
Exactly,
enough
it's
to
like
do
the
it.
street cred
Yeah,
type deal.
Yeah,
Like, this kid ain't
And
a
I think
narc.
that
He talks to
also-
the
I
dead.
think
Oh,
that
you
also
smoked
kinda,
the
like,
super
plays
weed.
on, like the fact that like it's a game, so
Yeah.
like being playful about it, and then like hey you like truth or dare almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I felt like all the acting performances were really solid.
Especially the main character.
Mia.
She did
Yeah.
such a good job.
Mia did a fantastic job,
Yeah.
as played by.
Yeah, who was it? Who in it?
I'm trying to get the cast pulled up. Mia, as played by.
Sophie Wild.
Sophie Wilde. She did a good job. I also was pleasantly surprised by the performance from Joe Bird, Riley, the little
Especially
brother.
when he was smashing his face
Yeah,
on the wall.
fuck.
Oh, we could talk about that. I thought that
Well,
was a spoiler.
that's in the trailer.
Did you, was your fucking Lord of the Rings nerd boner going off when you saw Miranda Otto?
You know, it definitely did something to me. It definitely did something.
Who's that again?
She is the mom.
She's Eowyn who stabbed the Lich King in the face, and they were like, "No man can hurt a wraith."
I am
I
no
don't know,
man. and fart reverb sound effect goes off as she stabs.
Damn
So Miranda is Riley's mom,
Mhm.
the one who's like, "Hey, no fucking parties tonight.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a party."
Yeah.
If I find out there's a I love her character.
Yeah.
Because such like a single mom working a late job trying to like keep like support her family while at the same time knowing that they're kids and being like, listen here, you little shits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it, I'll kill you. And they're like, we're not going to do anything. I know you're fucking lying, but I don't have any proof and I need to go to work. God damn it.
You only ever ask me if I'm going to sleep if you're going to sneak out.
Yeah. I love that air of frustration she had when she was heading to work and she's just like, no parties. It's like, there's not going to be a party. Goes to the other sibling.
When's the party?
When's the party? What party? Oh, your sister already told me. No, there's no party. And she's like, fuck. She goes to Mia. When's the party? And she's like, God damn it. I can't prove it and I'm running late. And then
Yeah.
just leaves.
Mhm.
I will say that I can't say it would be hard to do practical effects for this movie, but all the makeup and everything for the ghosts, for
What do you
the
mean hard
people-
for the practical effects? Because there isn't really anything supernatural or fantastical going on.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it wouldn't be hard because there wasn't like people phasing through walls or some shit. But all the makeup that was used was done really well too.
Yeah, so it's just it whenever you like use the hand, the person using the hand sees the ghost, and it's usually people in accidents or murders,
Yeah.
because they're all sorts of like fucked up.
Usually, yeah, it's people who died suddenly and or tragically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like suicides are included, so anything that's like homicide, suicide, or like accidents. You said.
Yeah. So suddenly and or tragically.
Yeah, because it's like it's people with like ripped clothes or
Yeah.
like drowned bodies that have like fish eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horny for feet, which is like what everyone memes about. It's like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
it's like that scene. It's also like what the fuck?
I think you were in the bathroom when that scene happened, Patricia.
Daniel.
Oh, for the horny part, yeah.
No, for the foot sucking.
Yes.
Basically, Daniel got the short end of this like entire movie because while he was in the trance and also when someone else was, he was he was making out with the bulldog,
Yeah.
and then he also was getting his his grippers sucked on. It's just like the entire short end of the stick, and also at the same time, what's her face? Jade was just constantly like yelling at him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't there one scene where he gets possessed and like it's talking about how like he doesn't love Jade?
Jade. Yeah, that was like during their not party,
Yeah.
which made her like leave the room,
Yeah.
and then everyone else just started to. They had like a drug montage because then, it kind of like lightened it up a little bit, and I really like enjoyed the scene where it was like Zoe and her brother or whatever.
Yeah.
Brought the hand, and like the rest of the group just start having a montage of using the hand.
Of just having a party.
Like
just having a good
music,
time.
like use it like it's a music video or something, and like that kind of made it made sense that it turned the hand into something that's less dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more fun, and it lowers their guard
100% agree.
because like off of like just the premise of this hand, it would seem like something that you wouldn't want to use or like take part in, but like if it's kind of used that way, then it makes the characters like more willing to like go through the ordeal,
Yeah.
which is like kind of like narratively speaking is like what you kind of need in order to get the plot going, because otherwise once like something traumatic happens from someone using the hand, then you don't have a movie because everyone else isn't going to use it, and then like where else are we supposed to go?
Yeah. Very early on, you're kind of brought on to... It doesn't tell you it's directly because of it, but you can infer it. Like, also what can happen with prolonged use of the hand. Because I don't think the movie opens up on the funeral. I think it opens up with the guy at the party.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And that was a well-done scene. Fucking just a dude like, dude, are you okay? What's the matter? He goes, stab! Fucking through the chest immediately. Yeah, and what's funny is when I was looking into the like behind the scenes of the movie, apparently the guys that were directing and writing it, let me bring up their names just to make sure
The Philippou brothers,
yeah,
Michael and Danny.
they had been working on this for a while, and they had apparently gotten offers from multiple studios, and most of the studios were like, yeah, we'll definitely make this movie. But we're going to make it in the States with, like, American actors and stuff. And we're going to make some changes. And they're like, no, we're not doing that. So they put up a lot of their own money to get a bunch of the filming done, a bunch of the production done. And then it was, like, A24 who A24, the fucking godsend of weird movie makers.
For like Everything Everywhere All at Once. And what were some other movies that we'd seen recently?
Lamb,
Didn't they do, like,
Hereditary,
Barbarian, too?
Midsummer. No, they did not do.
Barbarian?
No, I don't think so. But they fucking came in and they're like, we want to keep this an Australian production. They're like, okay. Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Just make the movie.
Honestly, I like that they had so much liberty, because then they were able to like tastefully do it in a style that was like basically their own.
Yeah. It's always appreciated if when there's production studios that actually allow filmmakers to kind of like make their own art.
So, because like movies are very American.
Yes.
It's always like American culture, and it's very refreshing to see how life is like in international like films,
And
because it gives you like an insight of how life is like over there.
the other thing is that American audiences are kind of reluctant to expand their like media consumption, as shown by Parasite winning the Oscars and like 90 fucking basement dwellers on YouTube flipping their shit that a foreign movie won best film. But I always appreciate when there's a foreign film that breaks through that barrier and gets everyone on board. And I'm not saying Talk to Me has become the groundbreaking like cultural phenomenon. I wish it would, because it's very well made, but it definitely broke through that barrier and got a lot more American like audience members to go than another film probably would have.
I know from experience, a lot of people just watched it because A24's name was on it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's nothing wrong with that. But like, it's basically just like what the film needed in order to get anything across.
Yeah.
You think like just like in America in general, or like do you think like worldwide?
In
it just
general,
needed,
worldwide,
like, that?
definitely.
Got it.
Because like, the A24 has like such a not cults, but like they have such a following that it's like I'll watch.
You can call it a cult. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
Or
not
would you
wrong.
say it's more like just like a household name now? Like, do you think they've gotten to that point?
I don't know about household, but yeah, anyone who watches films know. Oh well, not anyone, but anyone who's like into films knows that A24 just kind of has like a pretty good track record.
Yeah.
So you can confidently say that like you can that like anything that they put out is of like quality.
Yeah. Speaking of track records, could you like read like on the list like what movies like have they like produced? Because it's been a
Because
hot minute.
you're forgetting.
Yeah, I actually like want to know for like right now.
All right, let's
what
take
are
a
the
look.
big ones that they've done?
Let's talk about some of the ones people might know of more. Talk to Me, Past Lives just released.
Mm-hmm.
You Hurt My Feelings showing up. Beau is Afraid. Sharper, Close. The Whale.
Oh, they did the way.
Yes, they did.
That was a good one too. Yeah,
God's
and that was
Creatures.
recently in the Oscars.
They did Pearl. They did
Mhm.
Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Yeah. Marcel the Shell with shoes
Yep.
on. Mhm.
Men. Everything Everywhere. X. And yeah, they've done just a shit ton of films. And
What was that one with like the cabin and they're like it's a disease, and there's like two families. One of the families comes into the house with the other family.
Oh, you're It Comes at Night.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was it
that
them
one did
that
terrible.
that?
Yeah,
it did. It was
Yeah.
like their first horror foray.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that's like when they
I
were
can't-
starting
did you
to like
watch that?
like we did, yeah. I remember we were like dipping our feet or they were dipping their feet kind of into like the horror
And I
genre.
think I think
the
an
time.
issue with that film too is I think the marketing for it was not done properly. Because they
Yeah.
marketed it as a creature feature.
Yeah, it felt
almost.
like a different.
Oh, like they were saying there's a monster rather
Yeah.
than Joel Edgerton being weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, like, Men also didn't do well, and also was like, I feel like it's probably a miss.
Yeah.
Should we
Yeah,
just
I-
sort them
I-
in?
So like
I was-
I don't say like I'm not at the camp that like A24 are perfect in that you can watch every one of their films. Like It Comes at Night is like just kind of like one of the things that I mentioned. I didn't know that they produced or distributed Men, but I think it's very funny.
Yes.
Which kind of sucks because I thought Alex Garland was like a really good like filmmaker, but it was like it's Men is just too funny to be taken seriously.
Yeah. But all right. Before we get into the spoiler section, what are your guys' recommendations for Talk to Me? Should people see it?
I think they should, just because like for me it felt like a breath of fresh air, just because it was in Australia, and then also just like for the horror genre, like it wasn't like being spoon fed to you like, oh, like then this happened and then this happened and then this happened.
What do you mean?
I guess
Like it
just-
wasn't jump scare centered?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Kevin?
I think it's like a great film. And a lot of people use It Follows as like kind of a baseline and a template for
Yeah.
like a good horror film, or at least something that had or a good way to establish horror rules.
Mhm.
Which is like something like I'm always been a fan of. So anything that kind of like uses It Follows is like teachings. Like I'm always been a fan of.
Yeah, the rules thing is something that always turns me off from like ghost films and stuff, is because like they'll set rules, but then they're like, oh, it's breaking the rules because it's a ghost, or they don't
like
say,
all the paranormal
It-
activity
and
movies.
it's not even just that.
Yeah.
There are quite a few movies where they like the ghost can just do whatever the fuck it wants. It could bend reality. It can make
That's
things stop existing just
Yeah.
because it's a ghost.
fair. Yeah.
So I do agree. The rules were, and the fact that they followed them so like religiously worked really well.
Actually, what kind of was like interesting in this film is that the rules for the ceramic hand are like established, and then they start doing troubleshooting. Or like Mia does troubleshooting, or like, all right, what happens if I do this? What happens if I do this during the process? What happens if I do this during the process? And that's like always been like, that sounds like fun.
That's the
That was like
interesting
one of the
part.
fun parts of this movie.
That's where your gamer brain activates, and
Yeah.
you're like, ooh, I need to see how this system works.
Yeah.
How can I cheese it? How can I throw this bag full of explosive barrels at the boss and still live afterwards?
It's how
I
it's
feel
why
like
I
that's
like.
just your personality.
It's what I enjoyed about like kind of the finale to It Follows is that like, all right, we've learned the rules. How do we use this? How do we use this to kind of like stop the It Follows monster?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that was also kind of like similar to this is I think it's Smile.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch Smile?
Okay.
I don't think I did.
I did.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a super stupid fucking horror movie because
Yeah.
all the trailers looked terrible.
Yeah.
It looked like a fucking standard paranormal
I'm getting
activity.
flashbacks to Smiley, the
Yeah.
Shane Dawson movie.
Oh god.
There
Yeah.
was, there was a Shane Dawson movie.
Yep.
That was like one of the first things that he got casted in like mainstream Hollywood.
He made
Oh my god.
so there was one, and then he made like two, and they're both terrible.
Yeah.
But and then when I actually watched it, I'm like, okay. I feel like given slightly different circumstances, this movie would have done better.
Mhm.
You think so?
Yes, because the rules for Smile is that like a person is traumatized by someone killing themselves like horrifically or dramatically or whatever,
Mhm.
and by doing so, you have now cursed whoever witnessed it with the demon.
And now the Smile monster will inhabit them, and they want to pass on to the next person. So you are now forced to kill yourself in front of someone else.
So they see they see like hallucinations of people with disgusting smiles coming after them, showing up, like just fucking with them to the point where they like where people around expect them to kill themselves or whatever. So the demon in Smile is basically just the trauma monster. That's what it is. So you traumatize people for them watching you kill yourself, and then now they have to deal with the trauma.
It and
That's a pretty good metaphor, though.
it's then I actually something I just realized is the Ring the grandfather of all of this.
Yes.
Because like I'm remembering the finale to, I think it's like the American remake for Ring, where they put the video on TV or the internet
Yeah.
so that like Sadako can now infect like millions of people at once.
I think the internet came about from the like sequel they released back in
yeah,
like
I thought it was like the coolest thing ever.
yeah.
I was like, shit. Now what? But it's a good because then there was like nothing afterwards. So it's like
yeah, no.
I was like, that's a cool way to end it.
That cuz that sequel they developed the lore to where the guy's like, "Yep, you watch it, and then if you have someone else watch it before your 7 days are up, then your 7 days get paused and then they keep going. So you have to exponentially spread this out to keep yourself alive."
Yeah.
The movie was terrible, but
I mean, like also, and then that was like what happens in Smile because there was
Yeah.
only one survivor, and he was able to pass it. I don't remember I think he had to kill someone to pass it on without him having to kill himself.
I can't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah, because that's why he was in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were we talking about? What's this movie?
Talk to me. So
I am talking to you.
Yeah, I highly recommend seeing this movie. It is a fantastically directed, fantastically written horror movie.
Good family movie.
Yeah. It does a great job of presenting its material and presenting the messages within the film without like spoon feeding it to you. So it allows you to just kind of absorb it throughout the movie. I would say, honestly, you make time to watch this. It's worth going like, we need to sit down and watch this movie.
Okay, now can I get to the point that like...
Okay,
I disagree with you?
spoilers in 3,
Okay.
2, 1. Go ahead, Patricia.
Okay, so your point again was that like that they established like rules and that like it was only like 90 seconds, right? That they'd have like the spirit like in their body.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the rule was you can't let it go on past 90 seconds or the spirit might not want to leave.
Yeah, yeah. But cuz like you said that they kind of like followed that rule like to a T, and like I agree they did, but like for one part, and it's with like the little boy
Yeah.
before he, starts slamming his head on the table. So basically he hadn't reached 90 seconds yet. It had been less.
No, it had been more.
I don't think so.
Yes, because in that scene they say he was holding it for almost 2 minutes.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, no, he explicitly went past the 90-second mark
Mhm.
because everyone was freaking the fuck out when he was slamming his face into the fucking table.
Okay, I got you now.
Yeah.
And
But
then that's when the spirit wouldn't leave.
yes.
Yeah.
That's when he
Okay.
went into a coma and
And then they didn't blow out the candle, I think.
no, they did eventually. Or did they? Maybe they didn't. I think you're right.
So
I
in
think
one
that
of,
was
like,
also part of it.
Like Mia was then trying to like troubleshoot it and troubleshoot the rules of
Yeah.
the talk to me ceramic hand, and she was like, okay, so maybe we need to open the door and then close the door again, which is what they did in the hospital bed, where she was like,
oh yeah.
talk to him,
Yeah.
I talk to you,
Talk to me?
talk to us,
Talk
we
to
gonna see.
Yeah.
Open your eyes.
So one. Okay, I wanted to talk about this because Kevin, you and I were having a discussion about it, about the bad ending
I kind of want to like talk about that later.
later. Okay, but
Something that I was like kind of just like confused by is that she goes on like Mia goes on like into a doom trance of using the hand by herself,
yes,
and I'm like, how? Generally, you need a second person there to wake you up,
Yeah.
to like pull you out.
yeah. Well, she
also
was
to
just
like
saying,
restrain you.
well, I think when she was by herself, she was just saying "talk to me." She wasn't saying "I let you in."
yeah.
If you just say "talk to me," you don't need another person to pull you out.
Mm.
It's when they say "I let you in," because at that point you're being inhabited and you don't control yourself.
Well, apparently she needed another person anyways, because look where she got. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, because I think she just kept using it too often and for too long. That's when she started having the other spirits show up to her.
Well, like, it's hard to say, because, like, she uses it multiple times, but then, like, her mom's, like, ghost, like, shows up in, like, what's the kid's name again?
Riley.
In Riley's. Yeah, in Riley. And that's when, the ghost, like, basically just, like, manipulates, like, her into, like, thinking that, like, her mom, like, hadn't died by, like, suicide. That...
So
Because it wasn't the ghost in Riley that was doing that. It was Mia's mom that was saying that.
So it's established that ghosts, well, also they're stuck in purgatory for who knows how long, they're gonna want to try to do whatever it takes to get out,
Yeah.
either into the real world or pass on into the afterlife. So they have the ability to show up in whatever form that they want, but they have like, I guess, just access to a lot of information, like in any information.
I mean,
So
yeah.
we have a ghost that's like, it's heavily implied, and like it's probably true that the ghost that's like haunting Mia knows what her mom looks like and the things that she would say in order to like pretend to be her.
Now, do we think that the ghosts are able to imitate other like people? Because
Yeah, because that's what they said in the movie.
And remember, they like
Yeah,
used
that's
Mia's
right, because-
mom's voice the whole.
Oh, not just
time
that, but
to,
there
like,
was
have her like, you
but
know,
there was
do
a
stuff.
section where like she thought her dad was coming in to
Yeah.
like beat the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. Because I was interpreting it as like, because basically what you find out happens is Mia's mom apparently killed herself. Now the spirit that is saying it's Mia's mom is saying, "I didn't kill myself, baby. I didn't write that. Blah blah blah." I was interpreting that as like the mom accidentally overdosed on sleeping pills. Or accidentally overdosed or something like that.
But then you find out through the letter
Well, that's
that
what-
she did it on purpose.
Well, that's what well, yeah, because like Mia didn't know about the letter, but
Yeah.
like that's what the idea was that Mia had, that like, yeah, the mom overdosed, and the hard truth was that they discovered was like, which is not a very like well kept secret, is that like she killed herself.
Yeah. But
What's interesting for me is that like basically like the ghosts like cling onto that little sliver of like hope that like Mia has, that like her mom
Yeah.
didn't kill herself, and she's like, okay, then like what do I
well,
gotta do?
it, not only that, but it's
Yeah.
also taking advantage of the estranged relationship she now has with her dad.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
manipulator 101.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's done really well because like the ghost doesn't go all in like, "I didn't kill myself, Mia, please help me." It builds up to it.
Mhm.
And it just kind of just little bits of information here and there. Right when Mia is at her weakest, just gives a little bit more. Gives that
Yeah.
little bit of nugget of something. And because throughout all this, like Riley's in the hospital, and at one point when Riley wakes up, Mia's like, "Oh, Riley, are you okay?" And the fucking old man voice is like, "No, we're gonna keep him." Yeah. And then starts smacking his face and then licking his blood off of the tile and shit.
Yeah.
Because they're like, "Yeah, we have to keep him sedated because every time he's awake, he tries to kill himself."
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Honestly, those parts were like really good, like scare factor wise, because you know.
oh yeah,
like, the
they're
ghosts just
they're
like injuring herself.
disturbing.
Yeah.
Or the part where like she says, "Talk to me," and a ghost girl shows up, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Can you take me to him?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then when you see what he's going through, it's like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Getting completely surrounded by like demons who want to inhabit his body, and then we're kind of like, so we're kind of like established that yeah, he's cursed and he's being haunted by the ghost that he let into his body from like the party, and that they didn't close the door fast enough, or
Yeah.
like they
Or properly or something.
or like there was something wrong with like the ejection process.
Ejection process.
But like
He-
that issue of the ghost leaving the boy never got resolved. So, but the movie kind of ends with like, yeah, Riley's like, acting normal now, and it's like, how?
So,
Why?
okay.
Or is it just like the ghost is satisfied for now?
So here's my take on that. I think there was a exchange that needed to be made.
Yeah.
A
I'm kind
life
of the
had to
same
be
impression.
lost in order for someone to be released. And the ghost that was Mia's mom, granted, I will give you, is probably someone besides Mia's mom that's like influencing her. But I bet you what the exchange was is that, okay, you either kill him, because she was trying to get her to kill him, because at the very beginning of the movie, you're given this, like, theme and this, like what's emotional anchor of that, like, she accidentally hits a kangaroo, and Riley's like, okay, we gotta hit it one
Well,
more
she never
time.
hit the kangaroo. It was just already hit.
Oh, yeah. She's like, come on, we gotta put it out of its misery, and she couldn't do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, like, with Riley
Which is a little bit fucked up for the kid because, like, a lot of people wouldn't be able to do it. And, like, it's such a weird thing to teach to the movie is, like, no, a lot of people wouldn't be able to do it either. And that's fine. You get the, like, Australian SPCA or whatever.
But
But
what,
take care of
like,
it.
but
But
I
then
think
you-
also for like the metaphor too is that like,
Yeah, it's letting go of a dead loved one.
well, not only that, but like, also like just like the act of mercy, like,
sometimes it's more merciful to finish it than it
yeah.
is to, like, force them to prolong.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and continue like their suffering.
So you could almost look at this as if someone was on life support and you're wrestling with the decision to, do we keep them going or do we let them pass on? But so I think the ghost just wanted a life, wanted something. And when it got Mia, because she was about to kill Riley, but then, like, the sister pushed her instead.
No,
Or-
she
well, the thing
tossed
is, you
herself. Jade never got
you
there yet.
never find out what happens. Remember?
Yeah.
You don't know if.
Well, Jade was
pushes-
still chasing them. She was
Yeah.
still far
Jade
away.
was
Yeah.
at the fence, though.
Yeah,
She's
but
still,
she's not-
She's
she
still
wasn't
too
faster
far
than-
though to like
Mm.
prevent.
yeah, and then Mia
Her
just
brother
tossed
being
herself
thrown
in
into the
front of
road.
the
Yeah.
Okay.
front of the car.
Yeah.
But I interpreted it as, like, okay, Mia sacrificed herself, be it intentionally or unintentionally,
Mm-hmm.
and by sacrificing herself, Riley was freed from their grasp because they got what they wanted. They got someone.
I don't think it was intentional.
That's what I said, intentional / non-intentional, depending on how you interpret the ending. I don't think it's intentional either. I agree with you.
Yeah,
But it depends on how you view the ending.
yeah, because like she, her ghost wakes up from her body and she was like confused, like, so it wasn't something that she intended to jump in
Exactly.
front of that car.
And then, like,
But like we're still left with like two ghosts.
yeah,
One that's been haunting Mia and one that's been haunting Riley, and they are still gone. And like, was that what they were looking for? Just a person to kill themselves?
I think that's all they wanted.
Yeah.
Because
Because like there isn't anything established in from the ghost that we've all seen. It's just everyone just wanting to go back into like either the real world or like pass on.
yeah,
And
which kind of
like they haven't really established. Well, sort of. They haven't established that like ghosts are malicious and they want to do evil.
Well-
Except for the one that was like really horny for Riley.
well,
or Daniel.
and that's where I was getting a little confused on, because I'm like, okay, they want to return to life. Why would they kill their host? That's where I was starting to get a little.
Well, the
Like,
thing
are
is
they just
too-
like that chaotic that
Yeah.
they just want to
I think
fuck
it's like
shit
a
up?
mix of ghosts though, because some of them like were almost like psychotic, that like they were trying to just like stir up trouble.
Because during one of the sessions, I think it was Mia
Mm-hmm.
that looked at Riley and goes, "He's standing right behind you.
Yeah,
He wants you.
yeah.
Run, run." Yeah, that part from the trailer. It's her talking to Riley saying, like, there's a guy here who is hungry for you.
Yeah, which is probably the one that like cursed them.
That's what so it's probably still correct that the ghosts want life. It's just that one in particular wanted to take Riley.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
it
know.
still
I
doesn't
feel like
make,
it's like an age thing still.
it still doesn't also
What-
like
so what
make
makes-
sense for them to suddenly stop activities when Mia dies.
Yeah. What do you mean by it's a age thing?
So like I think like because like for most like ghosts or like stories of like possession, like they say it's like easier like to possess children just because they don't have like a strong will, and I think that's what they're going off of, like that rule. What do you think?
I mean, like a lot of possession movies and media also like really attack kids.
Yeah.
And
All of the like nuns, conjurings, and movies of like that sort that have like exorcisms and possessions, it's always the kids getting fucked up.
And you know what? I think
Yeah.
it's I think you're right. I think there is something there about that because I think it still works for the drug allegory they're doing.
Yeah.
Because like a young adult and or like older teenager trying weed and doing stuff
Yeah.
like that is a lot different than like a 10-year-old kid
Yeah.
smoking crack. So
or even pot. Yeah.
yeah,
just
so
like
it's
anything.
like it's very different interactions and
Mhm.
very different side effects
Yeah.
when it comes to stuff like that happening. So I think you're okay. I didn't think of it like that until you mentioned that, but I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's a clever move, especially for like the for the director to do that, because like you're comparing like the allegory with like vices and then ghost possession and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you're able to kind of like show, like you said, like like this can also be seen as like somebody doing like drugs at a younger age than like somebody who's older would be
Mhm.
viewed so differently, because they're like it's even almost worse because you're ruining their life. More
By the
likely.
way, I still laugh how throughout the movie Riley's like, oh, I shouldn't smoke. I don't want to smoke cigarettes. Give me that dead hand. Yeah, give it to me. Let me talk to the dead people.
Well, it's also because like they're impressionable.
Yeah.
If someone cooler was smoking cigarettes in front of him, like there is a good chance that Riley would do it.
Not his
Fat best friend.
edgy friend going, "Oh yeah, my mom's a cunt." You hear?
Are you still trying to do
No,
this?
I'm just talking weird.
Bad Ritter.
But
This is rough.
But I really enjoyed like kind of the dynamic that all of the characters had.
yes.
Because like we have a really supportive Eowyn who's like willing to take in Mia because she just like didn't feel safe at home with her dad.
I don't think she didn't feel safe. She just felt lonely.
Yeah, I think they were both lonely because like they just didn't communicate at all.
They were both trapped in their own like depression and sadness.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how you deal with traumatic experience. You don't talk about them and then you keep them inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's hard to probably to
Yeah,
do
right.
that.
That's
like,
how I deal with them.
Yeah,
exactly.
but I think for
It's the
them, like
proper
as
way
a
to do it.
family, like it was probably hard. Because like also think about this too. Like she literally kind like, and one point in the movie, like Jade like shares like, hey, like you basically like took over my family because like you just pushed yourself from like your own family to like into mine's just because your mom's no longer there.
Well, and that comes more after what happens with Riley. Because
What's kind of like cool also is that because Daniel was being cringe at the party, she like stormed off.
yeah,
So Jade not being in that situation to police the group was like smart writing in order to create like conflict later on when she finds that Riley is now fucked up.
yeah.
And it adds like extra drama because like Eowyn trusted her, and then they like rightfully so like all forgave each other because like yeah, it was an accident. There's no traces of drugs in Riley's system, and like I don't blame her at all for like assuming that Mia drugged Riley in some way that caused them to like go crazy.
Yeah. And like
Because she's like a paranoid parent and stuff.
yeah, but even because she also picked up that like the sister was mad at Mia and was blaming Mia too. So like
Because like she definitely didn't want Riley to take part in it.
no,
She was like being a protective
You're-
like, big sister.
because like Riley, you're not allowed to do this, and it's only after she left Mia's like, yeah, go ahead and do it. It's okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, fuck, this movie is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's a little bit
there's
sad.
just-
I wish it just like adhered to its rules or like made more sense at the end. It has like a really cool, just kind of like cool finale, though.
Mm-hmm.
When that like Mia eventually dies, she's in she has like she's like completely like mangled and like injured and
She's got
scars
shards
and
of glass.
she's like
and
bleeding
stuff.
all over the place. But she's in a dark place, like literally.
Mm-hmm.
And it isn't until she sees like a light and a voice that she like reaches out towards it, and then it's the ceramic hand now in like Italy or something.
It's the other ceramic hand.
No, we thought that they were like in South America because they're speaking like in Spanish, I think.
Yeah. But it's the other ceramic hand. Because
Oh, was it like a right hand?
yes.
Oh, okay.
It's the right hand because they also talk about how the other hand is just out there somewhere. We don't know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's supposed to show like the other hand does exist and it's over here.
Mm-hmm.
Which means they have to make a movie that's talk, the number 2, me.
And then talk to 3.
Oh my God.
Talk to M3.
Talk 3 me.
Yeah.
Me 3gan. But any other final thoughts on this? Honestly, this movie is fantastic. I think you need to watch it.
Yeah, I'd say like if you're a fan of the horror genre, like definitely give it a watch and just kind of like soak it in.
Soak it in.
It's a great hand job movie. Just like getting a hand job while watching it. It's great.
Tug on me.
I thought we were gonna just have dead silence and be like,
No. Just be like,
Thanks for not leaving me on red.
no problem. It's because I care about you. Now go ahead and make
Aw.
that joke one more time.
oh,
No.
No, come on.
I have some self-respect. Get your hands off the soundboard.
No,
I
please.
see you trying to hit the applause button or the cricket noise.
Oh, come on.
How about that airline food?
hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me more like talk to these hands.
With that, thanks again for joining us for another episode. You
Boy,
can-
I sure am glad Australia's not real because that shit looks scary.
right? Those kangaroos are pretty-
You can find us at Twitter at Buns Cinema. You can find us on Blue Sky at Cinema Buns. If you want to help support the podcast financially, you can find us at patreon.com/cinemabuns. And you can find us on YouTube at Cinema Buns Podcast. Keep an eye out for our Twitter and stuff. We'll be announcing some events we may be taking part of in the new year. But with that, I'm Ritter.
I'm Patty.
And I'm talking.
Here's an intro song for
Bye.
a movie podcast. Some are pretty good, but we'll just suck ass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Watch with us, we're Cinema Buns.